on page 5. Everyone on page 5? Nicholas, you on page 5? Alright, use the table of values to graph the data. Okay, so looking at these data, should I do an L graph or T graph? L graph, because there's no negative. So I'm gonna set up my table. You know how yesterday we talked about, like we did all this on the side like this? I don't need you to do it on the test, but think about it mentally. Okay. So, what goes here? What's on the bottom? Radar? Which is?
The cost.
Uh,
No, number of days.
Number of
DVDs.
Number of DVDs. Alright, remember this is your X and this is your Y. So cost goes right here. Okay, I need to fit numbers from 1 to 5 down low right here. What is this first number? 0. Good. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, and then here I need to go from 350 to 1750. What is this number right here? 0. Okay, so again, not 350. I know my first number is 350 right here. I can read, but that first number is always 0. Okay, let's go up by 350. Okay, so 350, 7, 1050, 14, 1750, 21. Okay, so I went up by 350 here because I looked at this and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get it's actually going up by 350, so it makes sense to do that. You could have went up by 1s, you could have went up by 2s. Doesn't matter as long as you're consistent with your scale. So my graph can look a little different than your graph, and it's totally fine because we use a different scale. So 1 and 350, 2 and 7, 3 and 1050, 4 and 14, 5 and 1750, like that. Okay. Does it make sense to join the points? Should I connect the dots? Okay, so who says yes, connect the dots?
Yes.
Who says no, leave it as discrete? Huh? I only saw 2 hands. Okay, let me think about it again. Can I have half a DVD? So should I connect the dots? No. Okay, so for part A, no. Data is discrete. Okay, cannot have half a DVD. Okay, if you break that DVD in half, it's not gonna play. Okay, is the relation linear? Okay. So if I were to match up the points, can I form a line? Yeah. So yes, it is linear. Yes, linear. 2 ways you can tell. 1 way from the graph, I can form a line, and 2, I'm going up consistently by 350. Okay. Yes, linear, because I can form a straight line. Okay. Even though we're not connecting it, we can still form it, so it is a linear relation. Use the table to describe the pattern in the rental costs. How is this pattern shown in the graph? Okay. So what is it going up by here? So basically this question is asking you to describe the trend. We talked about that yesterday. So how we set up our trend is as something increase by 1, something also increase or decrease by something. Alright, so how would you fill in the blank? Cajun?
As DVD increased by 1,
Good.
cost increased by 350.
Costs increase by 350. Perfect. Excellent. Okay, let me go like that. Okay, so as the number of DVDs increased by 1, your cost increased by 350. What are these two variables? Right here. Okay? And I'm telling you, you will be asked this on the test. You will definitely be asked what's the trend, what does it describe, and so forth. So whenever you see describe, trend, pattern, what pattern? That's what it means. Okay? How many of you got all that correct? Okay, good job. Okay, second one. Oh, we're given an equation, but we have no table. So how do we create it? We create our own table. So we have an x, we have a y, and then it actually tells you create a table of value for values from -3 to 3. Okay. So -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. So that's what it's telling you to do. Create your own table of value. Okay. And I have this equation right here. So I'm going to replace that x with the number in my table of value. So my equation was 6 minus 3x, right? So instead of the x, I'm going to substitute in -3, like this. Right? I'm replacing the x with a -3. Whenever we substitute, we have to put it in brackets. Then we get 15. Okay, same thing, sub in -2. Okay, we get 12. Sub in -1. I get 9. Alright. By now, I should be able to do the rest without having to use my calculator. So looking at this pattern right here, what's my next number? And then?
3,
And then?
0,
And then?
-3,
Perfect. Okay, what's my pattern right here?
-3.
-3. Good. I'm glad you didn't just say 3. Right? Because if you said 3, that means adding up 3, right? So here, my pattern is -3 every time. Okay, good. Now we have a table. We can graph. L graph or T graph? T, because we have negative numbers. Good job. Okay, so a T graph. I'm gonna shift this down a little. Okay, so this is my x, this is my y. So for my x, I'm just gonna do by ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Okay, what about my y? What should I go up by? Jenny? 3, yeah, because my pattern is by 3, it makes sense to go up by 3. So 3, 6, 9, 10, 15. -3, -6, -9, -12, -15. Alright. So -3 and 15, -3, positive 15, right here. -2, -12. Oh, sorry, positive 12, right here. -1, -1 and 9, 0, 6, 1 and 3, 2 and 0, 3, -3. Okay. What pattern are in the graph? How does this pattern relate to the table of value? Okay, so you can tell that every one is going down by 3. and here you can see as well, your pattern is going down by 3. So actually, okay, so again, the word pattern. We want to describe our trend then. As something increased by 1, something increase or decrease. Okay, so yep, Kadrian?
If we don't have an angle, we just say as x.
Yeah, that's right. As x increased by 1,
Y decreases by 3.
perfect. Okay. So whenever it asks for you what pattern is there, you're describing the trend. Okay, and then last one, oh sorry, this is C. And then last one, what is this linear or non-linear? Okay, if I line it up, can I make a line?
Yeah.
And so it's
Linear.
linear. Right. The look inside inferencing. Alright, the word inside linear is line. Okay, so is the relation linear? Yes. I was gonna say yeah. Yes, it's linear. Again, because the points line up to form a line. Oops, sorry. Let me move that up. Okay, and in this case, I could connect the dots. I could draw my line because there's no content. I don't know what x and y represents. So it could be continuous, it could be discrete. Okay, so that's why that question is not asked right here. Okay. Okay, last one. Last example. Oh, by the way, how many of you got that correct? Okay, good job. And last example for the day. Solving problem using a linear relation. The student council is planning to hold a dance. The profit in dollars is 4 times the number of students who attend, minus $200 for the cost of music. Write the equation that relates to the profit to the number of students who attend. Okay, so you see how example 1, 2, and 3 is getting harder and harder and harder. Number 1, everything was given to you. You were given the table. Number 2, you're given the equation and you have to come up with a table. Number 3, you're not even given the equation. You have to come up with the equation yourself so that you can come up with a table. Okay, so you want to set up the equation for profit. Okay, what is profit again? How much money you can make, right? So it's gonna be how much I can get. So the income, but my profit doesn't equal my income because I have to take away my costs. So profit is income minus your costs. Right? Whatever money you get in, take away the cost that you have to pay for, like for the music, for the DJ, for the rental, the electricity bill, whatever, any expenses, that's your profit after that. Alright, so can we write the equation then? So let's say y equal, since we're used to using x and y now. Okay, 4 times the number of students. So 4 times the number of students. Yeah.
Equals 4x.
4x. Yeah. And then minus 200. Excellent. Okay. It's 4 times minus 200. Write the equation. Okay. Create a table of value. Okay, so b, x, y. Okay, so to make a graph, how many points do you need to draw a line? What's the minimum number of points you need to draw a line?
3,
Minimum.
2.
2, right. You only need 2 points to be able to draw a line. So technically, in my table, I only need 2 data points, and I can draw my line. But of course, 2 is not yet. 2 is not enough, so let's do like maybe 3 or 4 to make sure we see the pattern. We didn't make any mistakes. So we'll go for 4 points here. Okay. So in the last example, they told you to do -3, -2, -1, and 0, da 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 da. Okay, this time they don't tell you. So the easiest one to do is always 0. 0 should always be in there. Alright. And then remember x represents number of students. Okay. So if I just do -1 and 1 and 2, that's your graph is going to be like this tiny, okay? And it's not going to show anything. So give me a bigger number. Bigger number. Somebody give me a bigger number. So at a dance, how many people usually shows up at a dance? Yeah? 50. Yeah, I like that. Okay? And then? After 0, 50, then the next one is 100. What about going back this way? -50. Okay? Okay, but then if you think about it, what does x represent again? Sorry? Number of students. Can you have -50 number of students? No, okay? If nobody goes to the desk, they just don't show up. You don't have ghosts. You don't have 50 ghosts showing up. So in this case, doesn't make sense to have negative numbers, and we just have that. So put it in your calculator. 4 times something minus 200. All right, so here, 4 times 0 minus 200, you get -200. All right, that means if nobody goes, you're losing $200 for the DJ. You call the DJ, and then nobody comes. All right, 4 times 50 minus 200, 0. And then 4 times 100 minus 200, you get 200. Okay, do I see a pattern right here? Yeah, so if I do see a pattern, that's a very good sign. Okay, so let's still do a T graph. Okay, because we can lose money. Alright, so even though there's no negative for the x, there is negative on the y because we can lose money. So the x, the y. So for my x, 0, let's say 50, 100, 150, 200, so forth. And then for my y, let's go, yeah, 100, 200, 300, 400, and then on the bottom, -100, -200, so forth. Okay. Usually I like to draw a little bit more and a bit more and a bit less on both sides, on all sides actually. Alright, so 0, -200, I get this point right here. 50 and 0, and then 100 and 200, like that. Okay. Does it make sense to join the points? Okay, this is a tricky one. Alright, so those who say connect the dots, draw that line. Those who say no, don't draw the line. Okay, and the answer, don't draw the line because decimal. You can have one person, but you can't have half a person. Alright, so if you connect it, you're not only saying 51, 52, 53, you're also saying 50.1, 50.2, 50.3 as well. So that's why it doesn't make sense to join it. Alright, so discrete. Okay, so don't draw the line, can't have half a person. And then, so looking at this then, how many students have to attend to make a profit? Jenny?
51.
Good, okay, to make a profit, remember profit means making money. Instead of saying 51, you can just say like more than 50 students need to attend. Okay, because remember your X represents the number of students, Y represents your costs. So your profit. So your profit is after 50. That's where you become, you go into the positive side. Okay. All right. So this one is a very good question because it deals with the finance unit as well. Okay. So remember what profit is. Profit is income minus costs. Remember that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So for classwork, I know it's Halloween tonight, and so a lot of you guys will be having fun. I want you guys to enjoy the night as well. So work on these questions in class now, and then no homework tonight. Okay? So right now I want you to do 4 5 7 actually no 4 5 4 5 10 4 5 10 13. Okay, so in class right now I want you to classwork. Okay, number 4 5 10 and 13. 10 and 13. Okay, if you are done these questions early, please do try 14, 15, and 16. Okay, otherwise right now, work on these 4 and then no homework tonight.